Alright guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 25th of September 2019. The time is 10:47 AM GMT time. So just carrying on from our EURJPY study. Just going to be two parts to this video. I'll do an overview of where we're at currently in price, and then I'll go over some comments that were made on the thread later, or the second part of the video. So you can see, we'll start, fresh in our minds. Okay, we know where we were, we know where we are right now. If you watch the series of videos, you'll know how we've arrived at this point. Okay, and we sat through all of these 3 weeks of price action. All right, but we still have this idea down here that the 114.85 is going to be traded to. Okay, and I'll just say now, it doesn't mean it will. Okay, it just means that based on everything that I'm seeing and the relationship between the long positions, short positions, of big institutions, it makes sense based on stop runs, based on the start, where we're at, what's happened along the way, okay, the drops and so on. That price is going to continue going lower, so we have this higher time frame idea of 114.85. Okay, I also mentioned as well in a previous video that this doesn't mean we can't go long, it doesn't mean we can't go short. Okay, it means we can do both, but the higher time frame premise or idea is that price is going lower towards 114.85. So we always have that in mind. Okay. In terms of the weekly, you can see we had a really nice pop up here. Okay, and pay attention, guys, to these previous highs. Okay. You don't just have to drop down to a lower time frame. You should be able to see what the hourly looks like on a weekly chart. I know it sounds a bit weird. You can't always figure it out completely, but you can see the stop runs on the weekly chart. You don't need to drop down to see whether a high or a low was taken. And you can see that candle right there, the wick of that candle, takes out this high and takes out this high. Okay, the next week it comes up, it takes out this high, rebalances. Then we start to get lower. So we get a lower high here, drive lower, okay, and now we're approaching, or coming close to, a couple of weeks ago, the low of a couple of weeks ago. Okay, we've marked this level here at 117.35. That's the level really that I want to see price go through to confirm that that higher time frame pull is still in play. Okay, if this level is respected and price starts to go up and it takes out this high, then we have a problem. Okay, but right now, so far, we have to use the opportunities that are presented. Sorry, not the opportunities. We have to use what the read on price that we have and what the weekly chart is telling us. And we drop down to the daily, and we can see these are the two highs when I mentioned when we had that really nice drop lower. Okay, pay attention to what's happening. Okay, not just it's a big wick, it's a big tail. Pay attention to what's happening. It's gone down there, it's taken out the stops there. Okay, we had a really nice push higher, if you remember, on the 4 hour. That moment right there was a perfect opportunity around about a 60-70 pip range for this high and this high. Okay, and it's gone all the way through, taken out the high here, gap fill, comes down. This level right here is a level that I would imagine would be respected. It didn't quite get up there, which is fine. It's sort of ground its way down. It hits this the first time, okay, this level here. And you can see that it's already gone to that level once, and now it's the second time it's gone to that level, and this is the third time it's going to that level. Okay, so the first time it goes to that level, we get a really nice reaction away from that. And if you remember, I don't know if you were watching at the time, but price went down, it comes back up. The next day it goes up. So we had a nice sort of candle, but that pressure downwards is still still there. It's still pushing lower, and then the next day, i.e. today, we have a neutral day at the minute. Okay, so this is the third retest. Every time it bounces its head down there and it hits it, it's doing a lot of work down there. So like I said, I want to see this level completely traded through and towards that 117.35 level, and then as it starts to grind through that, okay, it's negating any reason that price should hold at that moment and continue going higher. Okay, so like I said, everything that I'm seeing so far is showing me that price continue, it wants to continue going lower. We'll drop down to the 4 hour so we can kind of flesh it out a little bit more. And again, you can see we've noted this level here, okay, which is this level here, this candle. So on the 4 hour, like I said, this was that moment, and I'll just kind of zoom out just to kind of refresh. Had that nice drop, comes back up, reverses. Okay, and then you get these two highs that were taken out here, rebalances price a little bit, gap, drop, fill, drop, goes through the level, activates the order flow shift, didn't quite get up there, and then we get that really nice drop. And I made a note here, you know, for those who wanted to do the study. If you still want to do the study, because I'm not going to go into it, if you still want to do the study on this candle, I will leave it here. This line that I drew, okay, and I did this before the fact as well, because I wanted to make everybody aware that price should stop, you know, within this candle. And there was a moment, you know, within that candle where price should stop, and you can see it came very close to that level, had a really nice reversal. So now there is a very small order flow shift right there. Okay, you can see price has hit it once, tried to get up there a second time, tried to get up there a third time. So if price even jumps through this, it's probably going to stop within this imbalance, turn and start to grind lower. The first level that I would expect price to go to is going to be this dashed line down here. Okay, and in terms of price, we're talking 117.55 to 117.50. All right, so we're a good way away from that. There's still plenty of range. Okay, price is currently at 180, the 118 handle, so we've got around about 45 to 50 pips of range. If we drop down to the hourly to kind of get a feel for how that looks, put the dividers on so we can see we've got a Monday high of the week and we've got a Monday low of the week. And I was saying it's very unlikely that these are going to stay in place. Yeah, one of these is going to get taken, and obviously it's looking very, very good that the lower level is going to be taken. So you know, Monday's low is going to be taken, and it would make sense tomorrow. Just to make you all aware. In fact, I don't think it is tomorrow. I think it's today, actually. No, it is tomorrow. You've got Draghi speaking at 2:30 in the afternoon, and then you've got Governor Carney speaking, but that's pound related, at 2:45. We've got a lot of speakers tomorrow, sort of early afternoon, so be aware of that. You know, and as always, guys, I like to see big moves away from levels that I want, and then rejection, and then a move back, you know, back down towards the levels that I'm expecting. So if we ever get anything like that, that's just another confirmation that price is indeed going lower. But as it stands right now, you know, the level's been respected. I want to see how price kind of fares here for the remainder of the day. If it just starts to grind lower, okay, and takes out these lows, I am sure that we will find some support down here. But if it continues to grind today, as it is doing, then I would imagine tomorrow is probably going to be the day when we're going to get the move. But again, we don't have to guess, we just have to wait. There's always an opportunity. I have to be patient, wait for these things to unfold, and then we take it from there. And you'll notice that we do a lot of work on the 4 hours, something that I wanted to mention. But if you can learn to navigate your way around the 4 hour chart, it's very powerful, because it's a cross between a higher time frame chart and a lower time frame chart. Okay, and the higher time frame charts that I use for, in fact, I'm not going to talk about that right now, because the comments that were made, one of them was about me using the 4 hour chart, so I'll go into that now. So that's where we're at with EURJPY, and again, still with the idea that price is going to come down to this 114.85. We'll see how long it takes to get there, and the negation of that would be this high being taken. So I'll just note this on the weekly. We'll just make it very thick. That's really where, if price goes up and it takes out this high convincingly, that would be where I would expect the shift, so to speak. So we'll see. But even then, there'd be a lot of stuff for it to go through before it considers going higher. So we'll leave it on the 4 hour, and we'll start going through some of these comments. It's by davidman. You know, he does post quite a lot, which I really appreciate, and it's good. I do like the questions, I do like the comments. You know, obviously davidman wants to learn, and I've had a private exchange with davidman as well, and I can see that he's really passionate about this, so that's cool. So he's put, okay, this is my final attempt. 2 liquidity areas taken out convincingly, which appears to be the reversal area. Okay, and that is a reference being made to this. So the only thing that I will say about this, okay, is remember, you have to understand the underlying flow of price, okay? It's not enough to just say, well, price went up there and hit a small area, or a consolidation, or a candle, you know, or a wick or something like that. It's not enough. You have to understand where the shifts are in flows, okay, and why price would need to go back up there. So again, I'm not going to go into this too much, okay, but like I said, if you understand the order flow, okay, the current of price as it's moving around, you'll get a better feel for why price does stuff like this. And remember, it's all on the premise of a higher time frame pull on price. So I'm going to really emphasize this point. If I believe that the weekly, okay, is going to continue going low, we're dealing with a very large time frame that takes time to unfold. So any rally on the weekly chart, as far as I'm concerned, is just noise. It's just a normal price action. It's just a normal rally in a downtrend, you know, and it will continue to turn, create its swing points, and then start to grind lower towards that 114.85. With that in mind, when you drop down to the lower time frames, you can flesh that out. You can start to see, is price confirming that higher time frame pull on price? Yeah, because you can't see it on the weekly, but you can't, because it takes so long. But you can see the confirmation as price is going up on the weekly. You can see the confirmation on the lower time frames, because it takes out highs, it takes out stops, it reverses, it starts to come low, it takes out lows, it keeps grinding lower and lower and lower. And you see that, you know, as in the example here, price started to go up, goes up, goes up, it drops, it comes up, creates a lower high, starts to grind lower, comes through, activates the order flow shift. Yeah, it doesn't even muster up the strength to get back up there. We had a really nice drop. It comes up, it respects this level, it comes down again. So you can see the pressure is downwards, even though on the weekly there was an opportunity for price to continue going higher after two weeks up. So you have to bear that in mind. Yeah, the lower time frames are used for confirmation. And you've put, if I am correct, A, why was there such a big rundown which did not take out the previous low at 117.55, which I'm assuming this one here, so this big rundown here, okay, where there must be a huge liquidity pool. Two things: never assume that there is a massive liquidity pool anywhere, okay. Always go on the premise objectively, okay, by saying, right, I believe, based on my understanding of price and why I think price moves, that this low has stops there or liquidity. Okay, stops, liquidity, it's all the same stuff. Okay, the way price moves into those levels tells you whether it's a stop run or whether it's a fulfillment of an objective, you know, but either way it's liquidity. Okay, so but we don't know how much is here. Yeah, we had a really nice reaction away from that, so you can say, okay, it's there may be a huge imbalance down here of orders, but the reality is underneath this, you know, we can safely assume that there's going to be people that are long, you know, and they have some stops underneath here, you know, and that's that. So never make the assumption that the liquidity pools are huge, okay, because then again you triggering an emotional response and saying, well, if it's such a large liquidity pool, price has to go down there. But if it's a small liquidity pool, you know, there's no reason for price to go down, or is less of a reason because there's not a lot of liquidity there. We never know, we'll never know, but we just assume there's liquidity there and we just take it from there. Regarding why didn't it take it out, for me, the way I understand it and the way that I like to look at prices, the reason price hasn't taken this out, and again based on my own personal understanding, is when price comes down towards a liquidity pool and it doesn't take it out and then it starts to grind higher, that's an excuse for traders, retail traders, okay, or traders that aren't very versed in, you know, reading price or have a methodology that makes sense or whatever, mainly gamblers really, you know, they look at this and they'll say, oh, it's a higher low, okay, price didn't get down there, it's respecting this level, I'm going to go long, yeah? So they go long, goes up, goes up, goes up, you know, and the most logical place for their, you know, for traders like that to put their stop is underneath here, you know? So it's that false sense of, yes, this is support, price is being supported in this area, price is starting to go up, it makes sense, so on and so on, and then they drop it again, and again it supports the, you know, the area, and let's say price goes up again, takes out this high, everyone's getting excited, some people are making profit, and then it just tanks and takes out everything. Yeah, so it's an engineering or manipulation, okay, of retail traders or traders that, you know, aren't in the know, so to speak, right, or aren't consistent with their trading or trading methodology. B, why would this reversal area be revisited after this liquidity pool was taken? Why would this reversal area be revisited after this liquidity pool was taken? Okay, so I think you're assuming here. So as price starts to get up, it comes up to this area. Why would reversal be revisited after this liquidity pool was taken? If I've understood this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, davidman, but if I've understood this correctly, the answer to that question, why would this reversal area, okay, be revisited after a liquidity pool was taken. Okay, it's to do more work and to rebalance price. So imagine, I know this is going to sound like a really silly way of saying it, but it's just such a basic example. Let's say you can see a pile of money in the corner. Okay, you don't know how much it is, you can just see a pile of money in the corner, so you get up and you run towards that pile of money and you grab as much as you can with your hands and you run away. Yeah, there's still maybe 2 or 3 stacks left out of 10 stacks that you've managed to grab. So you've grabbed 7 of those stacks, you run away, you know, and you look behind you and you're like, oh shit. So you drop everything off, okay, and then you run back and you grab those 3 stacks and then off you go. And then that's it. All of that, you know, stack of cash has gone, and then you can get on with it. That's basically it. Yeah, they're revisiting these areas to do more work, or to rebalance price, or to offload positions, to reaccumulate, to distribute, whatever the case may be, you know, so they can fulfill everything that they need to fulfill, and then off they go. You indicated that you never use timeframes below the 4-hour. No, that's not what I said. What I was saying was, and maybe I didn't make it clear, so I apologize, but I'll make it very clear now. I use the weekly, daily, and 4-hour as my analysis timeframes, and I use the hourly and the 15-minute as my entry time frames. The hourly is a very special chart for me personally because I use it for both, okay, but very sparingly, and I'll explain that in a second. The higher time frame, weekly, daily, and 4-hour, give me my directional bias, even though I don't like using that word bias, but they give me the direction. They show me where price is going to be going on a longer time frame. Okay, so I have more time to think about it. I've got more time to go down to the hourly and start to look at price. Is it confirming that bias? Is it confirming that pull on price? You know, by looking at lots of different things like stop runs, manipulations, you know, shifts, order flow shifts, turns in the market, you know, rejection, and so on and so on and so on. So the like I said, the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour, they're my analysis timeframes. I don't use those to take trades off. Yeah. The hourly chart mainly is used for opening trades, okay, in areas that make sense, you know, within the context of the 4-hour, the daily, and the weekly. But the hourly I also use as a confirmation tool to confirm that bias. So if I believe very strongly that price is going lower, I need to see the hourly doing all the above that I've just said to confirm that that is indeed the case. Yeah. And you can see it more on the hourly because it's a faster time frame. Things move, you know, a lot quicker. It doesn't take so long to, you know, to form, and so on and so on and so on. And then the 15-minute, I never put any weight on the 15-minute chart at all. I never look at the 15-minute chart and say, oh, it's taken out a high, so price is going to reverse now. Never, 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 ever. I'll just use the 15-minute chart as an entry, you know, an entry time frame if I don't find my entry on the hourly. I always try to get my entry on the highest time frame possible for my entry time frames, which in this case is the hourly chart. Yeah, but sometimes when I have to drop down to the, you know, the 15-minute to put, you know, to refine the entry, then I can use the 15-minute, you know, to get a better stop or a tighter stop, okay, and still maintain that 20 to 30 pips that I'm looking for. So that's the answers to your questions. You said here I'm going to revisit your videos in case I missed anything. That's cool, man. So I hope that answers your questions. Obviously, if you've got any more, I'm sure you'll post them, so that's fine. And as always, guys, I hope the video finds everybody well. I hope you guys are learning, you know, and we'll continue to do the study, and we'll see what happens with EURJPY as we go forward. And remember, just as a final note, I will never tell you what to do. I'm never going to open a trade in front of you. I'm never going to show you the trades that I personally take. You know, this is about study, it's about learning, and it's just about becoming, you know, a better trader, a more consistent trader. And if anything that I show you guys helps in that, you know, in that regard, great. Yeah, but I don't want you guys thinking this is a signal service or anything. It isn't. This is about education. You know, my passion is teaching, you know, the markets and how they move, as opposed to, you know, a signal service. All right. So again, I hope the video finds everybody well. I hope you had a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next update. Take care.